Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Close to Broke. Once again, we find ourselves in our own private game, looking to splash it around. Shout out to Formula One. Got in the old Drive to Survive series. Now I'm addicted to the show. We're gonna hop into today's session very quickly. Hope you guys are having a lovely day. If you guys ever want to play with me, Sundays, 1 p.m. here at the Lucky Lady. Otherwise, let's play some poker.
Today we have a very fun, quick vlog for y'all to enjoy. So let's get right into it. In this first hand, I'm in early position. I look down a king jack offsuit. I go and raise to 20 bucks. There's 3 callers and we're going 4 ways off to a flop that comes out pretty decent. King 8-9. Some straight draws out there, but no flush draws to worry about. At this point, the big blind just open rips it all in here for about 80% of the pot, just shy of $70. With the action on me, considering that the next effective stack is somewhere in the neighborhood of 350. Although my hand isn't the very best in the world, it probably gives me the best opportunity to win by just trying to narrow down the field. We don't really need to think outside of the box. Let's just go all in here and try to get this heads up. I go ahead and do just that. I go all in for 350 effective, as we mentioned. Luckily for us, both other players decide to fold, and we're going out one time to a run out. The turn card is a beautiful jack of spades, improving us if we were behind by some imagination. And then the river card is a dreadful 7 of clubs. Now any 10 makes a straight. And after I show my hand, my opponent says, good hand, it's good. And he shows king 5 offsuit. So luckily for us, we were ahead the entire way. To be quite fair, some time has passed in between the last hand and this hand. And we're going to get in the mix with a hand that you shouldn't be really getting in the mix with a whole lot often. Middle position limps and the action's on me here in the button. I looked down at 8-4 spades. This hand's pretty trash, if I'm being totally fair. But considering how passive the table's been playing for the most part, feels like maybe, you know, it might be a little tongue-in-cheek, but we might be able to get away with it and just limp here. I don't do it all that often. I don't know any type of strategy towards it, honestly. I just have a suited hand and I'm willing to play in position, so I just make the call for 3 bucks. The small blind decides to 3-bet it up to $21. Can you do some for me? The limper decides to make the call with the action on me. Look, we didn't get this far to start giving our hand away, so I go ahead and make the call. We're going off to a flop that comes all right as it comes king 7-5. We do flop ourselves a gutter ball as well as a backdoor flush draw. At this point, the small blind C bets for the same size of 21. The first limper calls, and once again with the action over to me, raising doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. I go and just make the call here. I can maybe raise on later streets if I pick up some equity, which we do by virtue of the 5 of spades. We now improve ourselves to a straight flush draw, and with the action on the small blind, he does something a little tricky here and decides to check. At this point, the limper decides to go all in for 160, and with the action on me and having around 500, I think just calling here might be a little bit of a, you know, tough spot. If by some luck of the draw, the small blind has a hands like pocket queens, getting him to fold that much equity would be really nice. The other opportunity that I think that might be pretty decent is, you know, obviously one of these people has to have us beat. A-high is just not very good. Getting it in, honestly, 3 ways, now that I think about it, doesn't change a whole lot different here. The only problem is that in real time, I think that I want to get my opponent in the small blind out of the hand with better. But again, it doesn't really matter. I think just calling here is probably the best play. But hey, in real time, I decided to go all in for $500. And I just had this bad feeling in my stomach. I was like, I feel like if I go all in, this guy's just trapping. And sure enough, he was. The small blind snap calls and shows pocket kings. Somehow, we are not drawing dead. By some miracle, there's an opportunity to put a bad beat, and a real bad beat if I've ever seen one. We're going to the river, looking for a miracle, by which it does. The 6 of spades rolls off. Oh my, yeah. Come on. It's a jack. No worries there. Unlucky for us to run into the absolute top of range, but hey, not all the big moves are going to work out. So by this point in the session, I was in for 500, and then the table obviously saw that I got that one and it hurt me, and everyone proposed that we make the game match the stack. Definitely not something that happens here ever. It's never happened before in the several weeks we've ran this game, but today, I think people are feeling extra sorry for me, so here we are rebuying for $2,000. Well, in this very first hand of notes, again, there's some very donk behavior by myself, where I have the like quintuple or the 6 tuple straddle onto 48 bucks. Yep, That's 2, 3, 6, 12, 24, 48. I don't even know how many straddle that is. I lost count. Nonetheless, one of the people in the blinds or straddles decides to just call here. Another character decides to limp, and yet another character limps as well. That's 3 limps when it gets to me. And we look down at 10-5 offsuit. Look, any hand that had a face card, I was going to go all in with the amount of dead money in the middle. But with nearly $200 uncontested in the middle, I've got 10-5 offsuit. Yeah, not good enough to play, so I go and just check my option. We're going off to a flop here that comes 9-7-6 rainbow. By some luck of the draw, we've ended up with some hand here, albeit just a gutter ball. I mean, it's better than nothing. At this point in the opposition, the first to act player decides to open rip it in for $162, going into, like I said, about a $200 pot. Everyone ends up folding to me, and this lovely character, this lovely young lady has been playing, and she's been given a ton of action, so it feels only right that even though I don't have the best hand in the world, we are drawing live against most hands, so I go ahead and just throw in the prayer there. I go ahead and make the call. Our opponent decides to run it out once, time for maximum pain, and maximum pain is what our opponent is going to endure. When the turn card comes, the 8 of hearts, what the hell? We quickly show our hand, and we have ourselves a straight. The river card pairs the board by coming a 7 of hearts. Our opponent shows pocket jacks. Oh no! Man, well, if only our opponent there knew. But unlucky for her, she ran into a gentleman not willing to fold. Just like that, we are heading in the right direction with a hand that honestly didn't look like it was much of anything. If you folks haven't done so already, and you guys haven't stopped by this game runs every single Sunday at 1 p.m. Obviously, it's Easter this Sunday, and we're still deciding on when we want to run the game. So I would recommend checking out my Instagram to stay up to date on all of that activity. It's close to broke. You guys can see whenever we're running this game and doing other fun stuff, giveaways, all that nonsense, yada, yada, yada. You could also follow me on Twitter at C2BLA. Either way, in this following hand, the $40 straddle is on. I'm under the gun, and I look down at ace-3 of diamonds. I race to 100. It folds to the button who decides to make the call. The $20 straddle calls, and so does the $40 straddle. We're going off to a flop here that comes ace, deuce 9, rainbow. With the action checked over to me, I decide to throw out a bet of 175, but in, hindsight, I think going even smaller makes more sense. We have an ace that is not very good here, so hard for us to get multiple streets of value with the hand this week. Honestly, even just playing this as a check call might be better, but once again, in real time, we go for a bet. And again, I think it's a little too meaty. Either way, luckily for us, everyone ends up folding. So once again, a really big pot going in our direction without any fight. In this next hand, we've made a new friend, and a really good one at that. Mr. Anthony Tark. He's actually a subscriber of the vlog, and somehow a character, not only a character, but a player here in the NBA. Pretty fun how a stupid poker vlogger is meeting people that are significantly more talented than us. Either way, here we are battling on the poker streets, the only place where it's an even battle, when he decides to open up to $20 under the gun. I'm a few spots to his left, and I look down at the ladies' pocket queens. We go ahead and 3-bet it up to $80. Actions folded back to him. After a little bit of table talk, he ends up going all in for 400 bones. Well, we didn't 3-bet the fold. We snap call, and Anthony decides to run the board out twice. We're going off to a race or a flip or being dominated or dominating. Hard to tell. The cards are not on their backs, but the first board comes out 10, 6, 8. The turn card is a queen, and the river is a deuce. Looks like we have that board locked up. The second board comes out, ace high. Turn card, king. Oh my goodness. River card 9. We show our hand expecting to win half the pot. And half the pot is not what we win, because we win all of it. Our opponent shows pocket jacks. By some miracle, we were up against one of the hands that we had dominated. A massive pot, nearly $800 or $900 being pushed my way. And after a really rocky start with the old 8-4, things are turning and turning for the best. Rounding out today's short session, well, it was actually a pretty long session, but just not a whole lot of vlog-worthy hands. we find ourselves in a new game, the second game of the day. If you guys wouldn't believe me, the game that runs on Saturday is hosted by a good friend of mine, Mr. Cairo. His game went on for 24 hours. We ended up hopping in that game, doing our, little game, and we ended up getting 2 tables. This is a record for us, and I'm hopping over to the second table to get the party going. Either way, in the first hand of this table and the last hand of my session, early position decides to limp. The button limps as well. The small blind limps, and I'm in the big blind with king, queen off. I go ahead and isolate to $12 as we're now playing 2-3. And the first 2 limpers make the call. We're going off to a flop that is beautiful. Queen high. At this point, I decided to throw out a meaty c-bet of $20. The button makes the call. Beautiful brick. It comes a deuce of diamonds. There is a flush draw on the flop, as we talked about here, as well as some straight draws. But the action on me, I think that going over the size of the pot makes sense. I've played with this opponent before. He is a little tricky to play against, but I know he's going to have some big draws when he just flats here, so I just go for gusto. I go for an $85 bet here. He has somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 left. I'm looking to get him to go all in, and he thinks about it for a while. And after seeing that he's hemming and hawing over a call, I decided to throw in a little bit of speech play here.
$85.99. If you go all in, we could run it twice. I'm just being honest with you. I'm being real with you.
As you guys heard there from the speech play, it seemed like my opponent was in between calling or folding or going all in. Honestly, it seemed like all the opportunities, all the options were on the table. And I thought that, hey, look, if you're looking to gamble here, brother, it's probably best to go all in and run this board out twice, which he ends up doing. We run out 2 boards here after he goes all in and I make the call. The first board comes out a red card, 7 of diamonds. And the second board comes out with another red card, the 3 of diamonds. We show our hand and our opponent shows a monster, Jack 9 of hearts. Open-ended straight draw as well as a flush draw, but all of that is not going to be good enough to beat a pair of queens. After all, it's only Jack high. Way to end the session off. We were in the hole early and found a way to battle back when it mattered most. I'm super excited to talk to y'all post-session. Let's hop over.
I can do this with my eyes closed. It's too easy. Too easy.
Well. It's a sunny, very bright day out here, as y'all can see. We're really close to my darn face. I appreciate you guys all for stopping by and watching today's episode. It was kind of a hoot and a holler. By far and away the best session we've had to date. Not money-wise. I mean, technically it's the most money I've won in this the game I host on the weekend. But the people that came through today were amazing. We ended up getting 2 full tables, one of 2-5 and one of 2-3. Just a good day. We were into the game for a whopping $2,500 after getting stuck 500 immediately there, chasing that straight flush draw. But we ended up making a good amount back. We ended up getting exactly off for 3K. Well, 3K and some change, but we tipped that. We're going to call it a win today. We'll call it a win. A win is a win. Does not put a dent into our last, or, our biggest losses here. But, hey, it's a win, and we're happy to take those. So, I'll see you folks on the next episode. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. And, oh, by the way, this is your last opportunity to hop in the WSOP giveaway. This is ending very soon. So, if you need some more information on that, WSOP giveaway. Somebody gets to fly out here and enjoy a ticket and all that for free. On me. No one else. This is not sponsored by anybody. And I hope to see you guys there. You can sign up by sending me a 60 to 90 second long video. Let me know why I should pick you. Outside of that, I've got to run. See you folks soon. Later.
It's too easy. It's too easy. I've been there, done it, seen it. Y'all just talk, don't live it. And just took that route, that seen it. And I'm so outspoken like Reason. Jimmy Neutron boy, young G's. And I'm a self-made man out of Sweden. And it's still off top, I'm tweaking. But I still gotta fight my demons.